recording at this point. So one of the things for those of us on the call who use WhatsApp, who use Telegram, who use email, it might be Outlook, it could be Gmail. We also have our colleagues who also use text messages. We also have private messages on Facebook. We also have Instagram. Only to mention a few. You can only imagine in a corporate environment how difficult it is to manage emails, to manage either a personal conversation which relates to work, to manage even some of the team work you need to achieve. So what Microsoft Teams it brings everything together. That's why it's called the hub of communication. So one of the things you're going to see on this slide in here, this is before Teams came into it. And sometimes, apart from a corporate environment, we also have um, junk mail, which is coming to us. And I'm sure in some cases, we spend a lot of time going through the junk mail, and at the same time, eventually we delete it. So again, it's not something which we need. And at the same time, we need to be efficient and also making use of our time. So what then happens is it becomes very, very difficult. So you can imagine at the moment, I've seen there's a project for Gift Tree. I'm pretty sure we have quite a lot of projects from the project management teams, from the QA teams, from the business analyst, from those learning Microsoft Azure, from those learning Microsoft Dynamics. It becomes very, very difficult. You can only imagine you're getting communication via an email, you're getting communication via Telegram, you're getting communication via a different channel. You can only think the magnitude of you sitting there trying to say, okay, this message has come from this person, it's important, or this message has come from this organization, I can look at it later. So one of the things, the problems which a Microsoft team brings is that 360 view, the 360 view of collaboration. What I mean 360 view, when we speak about Microsoft Teams, we are not just speaking about a collaboration tool. There is more to Microsoft Teams. What I mean by that is when a Microsoft team is created, there is a SharePoint site which is created. Anyone ever heard of SharePoint? If anyone has ever heard of it, please just type in yes in the chat window, and then we can carry on to mention some of these collaboration tools or some of the things which happens with Microsoft Teams. Oh, brilliant. We have quite a few people in here. So SharePoint in itself, it has a lot of capability. You can use it for storage. You can also use it as an intranet. And at the same time, it can also be a collaboration tool. However, I will speak to you about the differences between Microsoft Teams and SharePoint. So within Microsoft Teams, I'm pretty sure most of us on this call who have started using Microsoft Teams, the recordings, we record a meeting and we don't know where it goes, right? So any video recording which is done on a Microsoft Team meeting, it is stored on a tool called Microsoft Stream. So that's Microsoft version of YouTube. So the video will be there. One of the limitations with Microsoft Stream, if you are a guest, you do not have access to view it. Only the people within the organization or people within the tenant will be able to view these stream videos. However, there is a plan B. An admin or the person who records the meeting will have permissions to go into Stream, download the video, and upload it into Microsoft Teams. Once I upload the video, for example, this recording here, how do you all know that the video is now ready? If you keep that in mind, as we go along through the session, I'll be able to show you how I can call out most of the people on this call and say, okay, look, the video is here. So we have this problem, which Microsoft Teams view. So I'm just going to bring up some numbers in here. 10% of someone working in a corporate environment in a week is spent looking at the latest versions of document, attachments which you can't find, and is sometimes trying to formalize emails. So this is not just a corporate environment problem in itself. It also happens to us when we have an email in Yahoo, in Gmail, in Outlook. Sometimes we're looking at that attachment which the insurance company sent to us. We're looking for the attachment which has the flight tickets. We're looking for that attachment which has a specific event which we need to have. So again, that in itself, it takes a lot of time. How, so if you look at the problem we have here, we have things everywhere, but Microsoft Teams kind of brings everything together. Everyone works together. So there's someone who says they cannot see anything on the screen. Can everyone see my screen by any chance? If I can just have yeses. Okay, so for someone who cannot see the screen, what I would suggest is if you can drop off the meeting and rejoin again, that should also fix the problem. So eventually, if you are in an office, uh, nothing wrong. This is just a picture. Eventually, you can get to this phase. It can be a female, it can be a male person. You can get to this point here where you're thinking, where do I start? Because you have so many emails, and sometimes you don't even know what that email is for. So just to help you understand, Microsoft Teams is part of the Office 365 family. When we speak about Office 365, there's quite a lot of tools which are part of Office 365. Anyone on here head of Office 365 or ever used it? Can I have yeses in the chat window? Amazing stuff. I can see lots of yeses here. So Microsoft Teams is part of that family. So what we are going to see is we're going to look within that family where Microsoft Teams fits in. So most of the time when you then become involved in either in a specific corporate environment, whether it's a small, medium organization, you need to decide what is the best for you. What is the best tool to use? Because in some cases, Microsoft Teams might not be the ideal tool you want to use. So in here, I have a diagram. So within this diagram in here, you can see we have Microsoft Teams in here. We also have Skype for Business. We also have Yammer. We also have Outlook. We have OneDrive for Business. So from these tools you can see on this screen in here, can anyone on the window on the call right now mention any tool which is on this window, if they've ever heard of it or they ever used it? So just mention one of the tools from this diagram here which you've ever seen. So if anyone has ever used any of these, just mention any. Okay, we got Skype, we have SharePoint, we have Skype, we have intranet, we have Microsoft Teams. We had a brilliant one from Adeshola, 95%. That's amazing stuff. We have Power BI, we have Skype, we have Teams. So it's a flavor of exactly some of these tools which are connected to Microsoft Teams. So in here, I'm going to go to the next step so you can see exactly where things fit in. So in here, we're talking about Microsoft Teams. So a question here again, just to make sure we are all engaging and we understand exactly where Microsoft Teams is going, what this Microsoft Teams can do for us. Has anyone ever used Planner? So if I can have some yeses, I'll then go ahead and tell you a bit more about Planner. And this is something which is, again, a very, very useful tool within Microsoft Teams, and I'll show you what it does. Anyone ever heard of Planner? If I can have some yeses, someone ever heard of it or used it, if I can have some yeses, that'll be brilliant. Okay, I can see a yes there. Charity, you said, is it low? I don't seem to get that. Do you mind retyping your message for me? Is it like Northgate? Okay. So my own experience, I haven't used Northgate, but what I can tell you, what Planner is, it's a task management tool. So CRM, yep, I know CRM, Dynamics 365, that's my area. So this will be different to Dynamics 365. So Planner in itself, it's we have, I'm gonna just pick up names I can see in here. If I mispronounce your name, please do forgive me. So we have Georges here, we have Angela, we have Abiola, we have Mariam, we have Patty, we have Dan, we have is it Jada? Yep. So we have our colleagues here, and what I need to do here, I need to be able to create a task for Angela and say, Angela, can you go and collect requirements for this specific work item? I need to go to Abiola and say, Abiola, can you make sure you test this item which has been developed by our developer? It's very easy to send an email, right? Again, sending an email, you can only imagine from the point where I send an email to Abiola or where I send an email to Dan, that email chain could eventually result in 10, 15 emails. So what Planner does, it's a tool which is integrated in Planner. It allows you to create a task for a specific person or for a group of people. I'm going to show you what that tool does and how useful it is. For example, if you're a project manager or even if you're a business analyst. In some cases, even just for yourself, if you want to organize your tasks. So in here, we then look exactly where all these things fit in. So if we're talking about things just for myself, we're talking about OneDrive for Business, where we can store our data on OneDrive and they will be stored on the cloud. So when we store things on OneDrive, those things are stored on the cloud. What that means is you can access them from any location across the globe. What you need is your internet connection. Emails, if you have a personal email, you're sending a personal email to your manager requesting leave. I'm sure you don't want your colleagues to know, right? So you basically use that tool. So in here, what you can see, it goes from here up here. Sky for Business. So basically, instant message, it could just be a direct message to my colleague in my team to say, oh, look, I'm struggling here. Can you help me? Or I've completed this work item. Can you verify what I've done? You don't want the whole team knowing that you need some help. If a specific colleague can help you, of course, you can go to the whole team if it gets to a point whereby your colleague is unable to help you. So going back to a group, so when you start talking about groups, we're talking about Office 365 groups. So there is something called Office 365 groups, which are created in Office 365, which will be part of Microsoft Teams. So Microsoft Teams, when I create a team, it creates an Office 365 group. What happens in the group? In that group, what that means is people who are in that group have the capability to see Power BI, to see any team news which are published on my SharePoint site. In my group, in my team, in my department, we can have a Skype for Business meeting. So one thing you must start wondering here is, okay, if we are on a Skype meeting and right now we are using Microsoft Teams, what's the point of having two tools? What I can tell you, Microsoft announced earlier this year, next year, I think around July, August time, Sky for Business will be no more. So we can start saying goodbye to Sky for Business, and Microsoft Teams will be that tool to make these phone calls and to do some of the things Sky for Business used to do. So again, we had someone mentioning that they've used SharePoint for the intranet. Yes, in here. So that'll be for an organization. Office 365 video. This in here is now being taken over by Microsoft Stream. So we have our colleague here. Okay, awesome. They just switched off their video. We have Yama. Yeah, Yama can be a group of people within a department, or this can be used for the whole organization. We have Skype meeting broadcast. Skype meeting broadcast is basically you can have a live event. So Microsoft Teams now have something called live events. So what I can do is I can create a live event, or basically it's like a live broadcast, and I can have up to 10,000 people on that. So basically, the same meeting like we're doing right now, I can create a live event, and within that live event, 10,000 people across the globe can join that specific broadcast. So you can see the power of Microsoft Teams in here. So I'm pretty sure you're now start thinking, okay, where is this all going to? So we have something from Deji saying, can you link it with Facebook and YouTube? So in terms of linking a live event from to Facebook, I've seen someone do it, but from my own experience, it's not something I've done. But I'll test it at some point, and I'll be able to give you some feedback. We also have something from Grace. So like Zoom webinar. Yep. So Zoom in itself, it's in terms of video communication, it's similar a competitor of Microsoft Teams. What I can tell you, there are some features in Zoom which are not available in Microsoft Teams. At the same time, Microsoft are working to bring those features to Microsoft Teams as well. A very good example on Zoom, you have Zoom rooms, right? Microsoft Teams does not give you that yet. That feature will be available at some point in August, September time this year. So again, there is some differences whereby Zoom does not give you some of these capabilities for SharePoint, but Zoom again, is it a good tool? Definitely yes. Yep, breakout rooms, that's correct. So don't you worry too much about the slides. We're almost done. We're going to go to an interactive demo very shortly where I will involve a few people. So I have a question in here. Is Microsoft Team free? Fortunately, I would like to say that, but unfortunately, no. What Microsoft Teams is like, it's a paid for service. However, Microsoft at the moment, they're giving it 6 months free to any charity organization and any health care organizations. So you get 6 months free, and the type of license you need for that is called an E1 license, which can be obtained from a Microsoft partner. So if it's something you're interested in, you work for a health organization or a charity organization, please do reach out, and we can discuss how you can get that to your organization. So we have Microsoft Teams in here. In some cases, most of us, we're always on the move. We have some work we need to do. So it is available on a mobile device. When I mean a mobile device, that's an Android, a Microsoft device, an iOS, an iPad, even the tablet is available on those things. I will share with you the links of how you can actually get it on these different devices. So on a desktop, it is also available. So when I mean a desktop, what I mean by that is the one you download on your laptop, the one you download on your PC. So there is feature differences when you use Microsoft Teams on a desktop and when you use Microsoft Teams on the web. So is everyone familiar with the term web right here, right? If I can have some yeses, and those who are not sure what we mean when you say web, please just say no, and we'll be able to exactly elaborate what we mean by that. Amazing stuff. I can see yes, yes, and I can see there's a question from Dan who's asking me, what is web? Any other yeses? So I also have another no here. So Dan is a Microsoft solutions architect. He's one of my colleagues I work with on different projects. He's basically pulling my leg here. So for anyone else who doesn't know what a web is, so we're talking about a browser. So we're talking about Internet Edge, Microsoft Edge. Most of you were used to Internet Explorer. that's now being phased out. So we have Edge, we have Chrome, we have Safari, we have Firefox. So Microsoft Teams is supported on those browsers. So you can join this meeting using a browser. You can join this meeting using the desktop app. You can use Microsoft Teams while you're sitting in your garden on your mobile phone. Just don't do it when you're driving, please. So in here, these are the links where Microsoft Teams is available, where you can download it from. So for PCs, for laptops, you can download it here. So what I'm going to do is with these links here, I'm going to share them in a group separately. So let me go back a step. So I'm going to share these links so they're just easier for you to just click on them. Then it just takes you to the site to download. We have in the App Store, you can download Microsoft Teams on your Apple device. Google Play Store, that's Android. And then for those who have the Windows Phone, this is where you can get it from. One thing you need to remember, you do not need to sign in. As long as you're just clicking the link to join Blue Sky, you just need to click the link. Microsoft Teams will launch on your mobile device. And then you're in the meeting. You'll be able to see the screen if someone is sharing a screen, but I'm not too sure how people are comfortable seeing small screens. So I can see someone here has said OneDrive and Outlook. Can you elaborate exactly what you mean by that? So while we're going there, for those who've been using Microsoft Teams, you just need to understand from a corporate or from an organizational point of view, some of the things which are covered by Microsoft Teams is these things in here. So Microsoft Teams is GDPR compliant, it's a TSC compliant, data encryption at all times for Microsoft Teams. What I've put in here, I've deliberately put Ireland and Netherlands. So some organizations who have their data in the EU, the data in itself is stored in Ireland and Netherlands. The main reason for that is for failover. So if this data center has a problem, it will automatically go here. So at the same time, you always have business continuity. So TSC compliant, I just said the TSC, someone asked the TSC compliant. It's one of the security compliance policies which are out there, which if you are accredited with it, it means what you're doing is well. So some of these compliance TSC specifically can be awarded by a government to an organization. So that's what that is. But if you need a clear definition for it, again, if you reach out, I can give you some guidance documentation of exactly what's involved in TSC. So this here, Ireland and Netherlands, it depends by location. So for example, for an organization who is data is hosted in the UK, that data is hosted in London South and no, UK South and UK West. So what that means is if UK South fails, it will go to UK North. So again, business continuity is always there. So what I mean here is something for you to always remember. This is something we'll cover onto our Azure class on Sunday. So in terms of our backups, an organization can have their own backup set up within Office 365. At the same time, Microsoft do a 12-hourly backup of your data. So every 12 hours, there's a backup of your data. So your data is always there. So within Microsoft Teams in here, we have an owner, we have a team member, and we have a guest. So as we can see on this screen in here, most of us who have joined the call, if you can tell me what you think you are out of these roles mentioned on my slide here, if I can just see a type of things of what you think you are in the chat window for me, please. Amazing stuff. So what that means when we speak about a guest is you can have a Microsoft team for an organization. In this example, I'm gonna give Barclays Bank. So Barclays Bank, they have Microsoft Teams, and one of us on this call here, we are a third-party consultancy. They want to be able to collaborate with you on their project. So what they can do, they can ask you for your email address. Once they have your email address, they can invite you to their team as a guest. However, you have limitations in what you can do as a guest. You have limitations in what you can do once you are within their environment. You're not going to be able to see all their data. It doesn't work like that. I'm going to go to the next slide. I want to show you something on this slide here. Okay, that's perfect. So in this slide here, um, we have different things which you can do in Microsoft Teams. If anyone who has used Microsoft Teams can just pick any of the things on this slide here, if they've done it, just type it in the chat window. If you have used something, stickers, amazing. Those are lovely stuff, right? So stickers, we have GIFs, we have memes. At the same time, you have options to create and update channels. Okay, great. Channels, yeah, the list is coming, which is good. So which means we have some colleagues on here who have used it and used some of these things in here. So as a guest, uh, you might get access to create a channel. You might get access to delete your own channel. So when we're talking about a channel in here, we have a Microsoft team as the shell, which is the collaboration platform. We have a channel. So at the same time, for example, within Blue Sky, we have business analysts, we have QA, we have project managers, we have engineers, we have developers. The list goes on. Do we need to have developers, project managers, and business analysts in the same learning platform, learning the same things? In some cases, yes. In some cases, no. So what a channel does is a specific work stream. So we can say this channel here is for business analysts. The discussions which go in there, they are for business analysts. We can say this channel here is for project managers. One thing you need to think about here is, okay, these channels are within a team. How can I limit other people not seeing it? So we have a channel which is open for all the team members. We also have a private channel. So in here, if we have our director Deji in a private channel where he wants to discuss private stuff so that no one can see it, he can create a private channel. Within that channel, he can then invite the people he wants to speak to. He can then allow the people he wants to see that specific data. So that's one of the things about channels in here. In case you start seeing channel, what does that mean? So within a team as well, we spoke about stream earlier, right? And I said I'm going to download this video and I'm going to notify some of the people on this call here. So within Microsoft Teams, if you type in something like this, add team, what it does, it then picks up all the people who are part of that team. And once it picks up those people part of that team, it sends a notification. That notification will come in Microsoft Teams right here where it says activity. Apart from coming in Microsoft Teams as an activity, you also get an email. There's also an email generated, so you won't miss anything at all. If you are using a mobile device, it will flash on your phone. You get a notification the same way you get a notification when you get a text message or WhatsApp message on your mobile phone. If you are saying a channel, again, we have those specific people within that channel. So one of the things with a channel, if the channel is open to everybody, what that means is I don't want everyone in the team to get this notification. So what a team gives you a capability for people to select the option to follow a channel. So when I mean follow a channel, you get notified about the activities of the specific channel. I'm going to create a channel and I'm going to create a test. And I'm going to ask a few of our colleagues who are part of this team to let me know if they're getting a notification. So now that's the end of the slides. I'm not going to bore you any further. Now is the time to get a bit more interactive and show you what Microsoft Teams is. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the web version of Microsoft Teams. So in here, I'll just type in teams.microsoft.com. So what you see here is going to go and initialize. It knows I was logged in already. So straight away, I'm logged in. So what I can tell you right now, I'm also logged in the desktop app of Microsoft Teams for this meeting. However, I'm going to use the browser version of it to show you what we can do. If I can get some yeses just to verify that we can all see this web version of Microsoft Teams. Okay, brilliant stuff. So before we get started, I just want to ask you a question to all of us on the call. Do we get exactly the idea of what Microsoft Teams is, or is there something specific you want me to explain from what I've said already, or we can carry on with the next one? Please, if you have any questions, feel free to just ask them on the chat window. Okay, so while people are thinking about any questions, what I'm going to show you in here is a team. So what you can see in here is the team. So Blue Sky Citadel. Okay, so we have this team in here, and then by default, you have a general channel. We spoke about channels, right? So how do I create a channel, and who can create a channel? Team owner can create a channel. Team owner can restrict the team members to create channels. A team owner can restrict guests from creating channels. What is a team owner? So what a team owner is basically the system admin, the person who has overall control. So I have someone asking me, please, why are you not using the desktop for the demo, but using the web? Any reason for that? Absolutely not. There's no reason for that whatsoever. I will bring the desktop version shortly, so you'll be able to see it as well. So we'll do the demo in both versions. So there's absolutely no reason for that. That was just a preferred choice. That was a good question. So we'll show that as well. So we spoke about a team, right? So we have this team here. I'm going to ask for someone to give me a name. Just give me a name in the chat window of a team which we use within Blue Sky. We're going to create that team. We're going to create channels. We're going to have a planner. Okay, so we now have quite a few teams here. Okay, so I think we have property one. I think there's 2 of them there, so we'll go for that one. So I'm going to take that name in here. So if you're a team owner, or if your organization allows you to create teams, if there's no policies behind, you can simply come in here and say join or create a team. So at this point, I'm not joining a team, I'm creating one. So in here, if you can see, you can invite your colleagues to join by a code in here. I'll show you how that works. But we're going to create a team in the first instance. So what you can see in here is telling me build a team from scratch. It's telling me create an office group or a team. We need to create it from scratch. And if you can see in here, if you make it organization wide, people will have access to automatically join. If you have public, anyone in the organization can see your team and they can immediately join. In this case, I don't want to make it public. I want to make it private. So I'm going to select private in here. And now it's now asking me for a name. So I'm going to put the winning name in here because it has 2 votes on there. So what you can see now, I have the name in here. In some cases, if you want to put a description of what your team is all about, feel free to put something in there, but it does not make any difference if you don't put it on. So once I have that, I'm going to select create. So what will happen here, it will run a few things at the background, tells you nice work, and already the team has been created. It's shaded right at the background here because I have this. It's asking me to add members to this team here to property. So I'm going to skip this for now. I don't want to add anyone for now. I want to set it up with the channels. So when I start adding people, they will know what we have. So within this property team, so as an example here, this is not exactly how it works probably within your teams. So I have a question here. What is the difference between organization and public? So if you create an organization team, everyone in your organization is automatically added to that team. If it's a public team, they are not automatically added, but they can see your team and they can just join without your permission. So that's the difference. One of them is automatic and the other one is not. So organization is automatic, public is not. So we're going to create some channels in here. So what I'm doing here, this team here is for demo purposes. I'm going to delete it after our call. So we all can see our team is created in here. And I had a question to say, we're using the web part, right? So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to bring the desktop up. This is the desktop app here. I'm going to maximize it. And I'm sure you can start seeing some of you on this team here, right? So I'm going to click here where it says teams. So what you can see, we created a team in the web browser, right? So for those typing in the chat window at the moment, I won't be able to see them until I finish what I need to do here. So we have our team we created using the web version. And in here, I need to create a channel. So I'm going to say add a channel. And once I create add a channel, I'm going to say BA, just for the purpose of the demonstration here. Privacy is accessible to everybody in the team. In this case, we have some stuff we need to discuss. We don't want everyone else to see. So we'll make it private. So once I make it private, have a look at how it's displayed on the left-hand side in here. So again, it's now asking me the people I need to be within that channel. At this moment, we don't need to do that because I need to make sure I have everything I need in there. So if you can see, it's created the channel, and you can see it doesn't show in here, but you can see it here. How do I see it? Well, you can see at the end of it, if you click this option here, you can see your channel is padlocked. There's a key, which means it's a private one. So the next thing we spoke about Microsoft Planner for task tracking, for task management. Some of you might start saying it's similar to DevOps. One thing I can guarantee you, DevOps is much powerful than this one. But this one here serves a purpose as well. So in here, before I went forward, if you can see, you have a plus button in here. So I'll select add plus. So there is so many tools. So most of these tools, some of them, they're not even Microsoft. What Microsoft are now doing is they're happy for their competitors, they're happy for other companies to be able to connect with Microsoft Teams, to be able to connect with their services. So in here, it's a matter of choice what you want to decide. So of course, what you see on top, we have Excel, we have OneNote, we have PDF, Power BI for analytics, PowerPoint, SharePoint, as we said, we also have stream. So I'm going to show you what stream will do, and I'm going to show you what planner will do. So at the same time, if you can see here, we don't see a planner, right? There's a long list here. So I know what I'm looking for. I'm just going to type in here planner. So if you can see, I don't seem to see planner. Can anyone have a guess why I can't see it? Anyone, and any guess? Anyone? Let's see if you can see anyone. Okay, I have something from Deji which says, is Facebook there? Very good one. So Facebook, yes, it should be there. So let me go in here. Facebook, I've seen it in here before, but it doesn't find it. So if you cannot find it in here, you can add the app here. There's something as well you can add here, an app. So once we have apps, we can search in here as well, which is under social. So if you select social, we can start seeing social connectors we have in here. So we're looking for Facebook in particular. So it doesn't seem to find it, but I've definitely seen Facebook somewhere, that's for sure. I've seen Facebook. I've also seen YouTube as well. So one of the things you can see in here is I'm not able to add planner here. So one of the reasons being here is either I haven't given myself the license to be able to do it. Another reason being is I haven't given myself the right permissions to do it. So I'm going to open something up, and we need to make sure we get this working. So if you just give me one moment, I'll be able to get something going on. Okay, Teams. So I'm just going to bring another page on this side shortly. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to minimize this one here, and I'm going to log in into a separate team. You might ask me why I'm joining another team. It's because I know there is a team I have that license. So I'm just going to pull it up. So let's get into this one here, which we are logged in. Then I'll log out and log back in again with a different account. So I'm just going to log out, and it's going to give me a prompt to sign in again. Okay, that's what I was expecting. We have planner on this one here. So I'm going to use the web app instead. So this is another team I use, and the team from Givetree will be familiar with this one. So let's see if we have planner here. We should do. Yep, so we have planner here. So if you can see in here, I'm going to create a planner. I'm not going to create it in this Givetree team. Otherwise, they might not be happy with me to go into their team and create things. I'm going to create it in this one here, which I own myself. And then this is planner. So when we create a planner, this is a group which is connected to the team. So at this point here, I'm creating a new one. If you have an existing planner, you can connect it to this. So I'm going to select a new one, and so how come planner was not in one and not the, how come planner was in one and not the other one? So in the other one, I haven't given myself the license for planner. So I'll need to go into the administration area. I give myself a license. So reason I've came here is at the moment due to high volume. If I give my license now, it might not sync through on time. So I thought let me come here so I can show the demo because I was getting worried that something I'd planned is not working. So in here, I'm going to say test planner, and then I'm going to say save. So in here, what I can do is I can put in the name of my task in here, and just say requirements, and I can set a due date. So the due date, I'm going to make it a very tight deadline, and now I can assign to people. So if you can see here, I even have guests. There's guests coming up in here. So in here, I'm going to select this young lady I know very well. So I'm going to add her here, then add a task. So if you can see here, there's a task. What I can do within a task, I can create a checklist item. So I can just put in here for the demo, step 1, and put step 2, I can put step 3. So these are just some of the things you can do in here. So once my guest here starts working on this, they can come in here and start saying in progress. And once they start working on it, they can start putting their comments in here. Once they put their comments in here, it will send me a notification. And at the same time, you can set priority here as important or agent. At the same time, most of the time we work in a team, right? And just assigning it to one person is not ideal. So I can then select this option here and just add a few more people. I'm going to add another person in here, which is this person here. So we have 3 of them. So this is just an example. We can have more than 30 people assigned to a task. The only thing you need to consider here, is it a very good use of a task tracking tool to have 30 people on one specific task? I would say definitely not. So once you have this, and for example, you are the project manager in this instance, you can go in here and you can start seeing items which have not started, gives you things in progress, things which are late, things are completed. So what this does is if you have a deadline, it sends you a notification in your Outlook to say, guys, you have something, a deadline coming up. On the day, it gives you a notification as well. So just being cautious of time, we have 4 minutes here. So I have someone saying, can you link it with Azure DevOps? Very good question. I believe so. I've seen DevOps in here. So let's type in DevOps. I think I've seen it somewhere. There it is, Azure DevOps. And you can add in here. And then it's gonna ask me something I don't have. So I'm gonna select an organization. And then it's asking me for an organization. Then I'll just need to authenticate with that organization. At the moment, I don't have an organization I'm using for DevOps, so you can connect it here. For Microsoft Stream, we can connect Stream here as well. And we can just have the link to the stream. So just being cautious of time, I have a present for you guys on the call. So I'm going to ask you guys to go to a URL. So I'm going to type in the URL and I'm going to ask you guys to go to it. And if you can kindly let me know what you can see. So in here, Microsoft Teams, put something on the chat window. So this is for you to see what you can do with Microsoft Teams if you happen to get stuck, or what I said on the demo doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Sometimes I do say things and they don't make sense. So http .teams demo teams demo .office.com. So I've just shared a link. If you can all kindly go to that link and let me know what you can see on it, if you can see it. If you cannot see it, please let me know. But you should be able to see that link. So basically what that link is, it's an interactive demo. It shows you where things are in Microsoft Teams. It tells you what those things do. So I've shared a link in the chat window. Can anyone see that link at all? The site cannot be reached, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. I can see people are still following. I've done that deliberately. This is the actual link.
So I can see.
Yeah, awesome. So if you click on that link, you should be able to see an interactive demo. Every single time you get stuck with Microsoft Teams, have a look at it. Look at the demo. It's an interactive one. It tells you where to click. It tells you what things are. The link I sent is HTTP. So if you use HTTP, not HTTPS. So it's a HTTP. If you put HTTPS, yes, you see trainers. I wasn't trying to get you guys to spend some money, no. So yeah, it's 10 o'clock now. I'm more than happy to take some questions. Do you have any questions from anybody? Or something you want me to go back to, or why you've been using Microsoft Teams and something has puzzled you and you're thinking, what's going on here? Please feel free to ask. Okay, so we have messages here. Okay, so I can see Deji has something nice he shared here. So yeah, so this is something you can always use in terms of reference if you want to get started and you're not so sure exactly where things are. Okay, so I have a good one in here. How do you use a calendar to set up a meeting? So to set up a meeting, I'm pretty sure you guys can still see my screen, right? So what I can do in here, I have this option on the left-hand side. So if I select calendar, and then what you see here, I have a calendar and I can select a new meeting. So once I have a new meeting in here, I can select the title of my meeting. Can I ask, I'm not gonna use the email for anything else, it's just for the demo. Can I ask somebody to give me an email address? I'll invite them to this meeting, and if they can tell me they received the notification. So anyone who's a volunteer wanna share their email address, I'll share them. Okay, awesome. We have an email from Charity here. Sometimes I don't see the calendar. Why? So in terms of seeing the calendar, do you mean a scheduled meeting already or just a calendar in general? Okay, the calendar in general, Deji, if possible, if we can catch up and if you can show me in those phases where you don't see it, and I'll be able to tell you exactly why you can't see it, but you should be able to see the calendar. We also have a question which says, if a company have less than 5 employees, what could be the cost of Microsoft Teams? So in terms of costing, I won't be able to give you an exact figure, but I can share a licensing guide for it. But you'll be looking for the cheapest license, which should be an E1 license. So there's an E1 license, there's an E3 license, there's an E5, which is the highest. So you'll be looking at an E1 license. At the same time as well, there's also Microsoft Teams for personal use. But again, it will also depend with the organizational requirements. So just a question as well. Can you guys see the calendar on your Teams?
It looks like it's only me who can.
Yeah,
But
okay,
it's how
awesome.
I configured it.
So the reason why Patty can see the calendar is because she's part of the team. So as Grace said there, if you're a guest, you won't be able to see it. So one of the question I'll pose to Deji, I won't ask for the answer now, but it's just something to think about. If we're looking to move to Microsoft Teams, what we need to do is to send an invite for our colleagues to join the team. So instead of us asking for their email addresses, we just basically send them a code and they can just join themselves, and then we can have people on the platform. So what that means is if you're part of the team, you'll be able to then say it. But at the moment, you all join the meeting just as a guest. So how do you attach recorded meetings into the team channel? So what happens in here, just before I go ahead, I'll come back to that. I just need to create this meeting. So we just see how we create a meeting. So in this test in here, I'm just going to put Teams demo, skills, my typing there, and the required person here is our colleague here. And when is this meeting taking place? We're going to make it tomorrow. We're making it from, let's make it 7 o'clock in the morning to 7:30. And then you can select if you want this meeting to be a repeating one, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, or you can have a custom repeat series. So we're not going to do that. This meeting here can also be specific to a channel. What that means is people within that private channel, people within that public channel will also have visibility of this meeting. We're not going to do it here. In terms of location, I'm going to put meeting for Teams, and then I'm sure you can tell my English is very bad because I can't spell. In here, I'm going to put hello, and then the next thing is I'm going to send. So what we're going to ask for here from Charity, if you can kindly let us know if you can see this meeting invite in your calendar. In some cases, it might just be in your junk mail, but what we should be able to see as well in our calendar here is to change this option here to week, so we can see weekends as well. And because we're looking at this time, we have our meeting here, which is starting at 7 o'clock until 7:30. So if Charity, if you could kindly confirm for us if you got that meeting. So we have a question, can there be two meetings going on at the same time? Absolutely, yes. There can be two meetings going on at the same time. All you just need to do is to schedule it here. As long as the meeting is scheduled, it will go ahead. So we have our meeting in here. We're going to schedule another one for exactly 7:30. So this one is going to come to myself. This is my personal email address. You're more than welcome to send me things there. So we have someone asking unscheduled. Okay, that's fine. We'll come back to that very shortly. Yep, spams to me. Yep, I always look forward to those ones. So we have our meeting tomorrow morning, and we're gonna make it 7 o'clock in the morning until 7:30, and then 7 o'clock until 7:30. I'm not gonna put a location either. I'm just gonna send it. To do in here, I have that. Okay, you can see I'm putting the wrong stuff in the wrong column. That's why it's just saying save in here, then say test here, and then I'm going to send it. And then on our calendar tomorrow morning, you see we have two meetings at the same time. The next question here is, can we have an unscheduled meeting? Yes, you can. What you will need to do, it's meet now. So if you select meet now, and then what you then need to do once you join the meeting is to invite the other team members you need to speak to. That's one of the differences here. If you just meet now and your colleagues are not part of the team, it might be a challenge for you to bring them in because they're not part of your team. You won't be able to search for them. So again, that question I posed to Deji, if it's something we need to do to have our colleagues on the team, we just need to send the code, just one code we can just send on the Telegram group and people will join here. We have another one here, like if some people are attending a scheduled one and another team wants to meet at the same time unscheduled, yep, they can use Meet now. But like I said, the people will need to be part of the team. They cannot be someone outside, because you're not going to have a link unless you are quick to get the link here. If you forget to get the link here, it presents a challenge for you. So we have, how can we use Teams for communication with family and friends? So at the moment, Microsoft Teams for personal is currently in preview. So it hasn't gone into public for everybody else. But if you want to try the preview, it's currently available. Once you download Microsoft Teams on your personal device, it will give you the option for personal. And then you can start using it. The other thing you need to also remember here, you need to encourage your colleagues to be able to have Teams as well, because as you have seen, for those who have started using Microsoft Teams, sometimes you get lost on where to get started. So you also need to encourage your peers to have Microsoft Teams. How do you block your calendar from being seen by others? That's a very good question, Taiwo. This is something I've never delved into myself. However, I'm more than happy to take this away for you, and I will update you in the Telegram group. Are you in the Telegram group? I'm guessing you are. If you are, I will post the answer for you tonight, if not tomorrow morning. Amazing stuff. How do you attach recorded meetings into the team channel? So once you have your team members who are not a guest in Microsoft Teams, what you can simply have is go to the team, and you can add a tab here, which will be the link to Microsoft Stream, and then the link will show in here. So let me see if I can actually show you that. Just give me one moment to, okay, stream. Okay, let me get to stream and I'll be able to show you that. So in here, I'm going to go to portal.office.com. Then we need blue sky. Okay. And now this is one of the security features which Office 365 comes with. If you happen to be prompted for it and you're not ready for it, I'll always say, please disregard this and just say 14 days. So our stream is in here. So what you're gonna start seeing in here, you're gonna see some videos. Some of the videos in here will be from the Power Platform area. So question in here is, okay, just give me 1 second. What I can see in here, I don't see anything. I don't know if you guys, you can see, I don't see anything, right? If I can have, okay, let me just see. I get worried when people go quiet. Okay, so in here, I don't seem to see any videos. I need to understand why. Okay, so in here you can see, I don't seem to see any videos, but this is where the videos will be. So this video recording of this meeting in here we have, it will appear in here. The reason I don't seem to see any here is I haven't recorded any. That's the main reason being. If I go to this area here, I'll show you, so you can actually see exactly how it works. So I've actually recorded some on my other platform. So switch to a different account. This is not what I wanted to do. Okay, I see. Great, it's gone to it. Stream is here. Videos. Unable to display video because the session is expired. It's a new one. So something is not quite working quite right here, but the videos will be shown in here and Mobilaji has gone into it and she's been able to download some videos and upload it. So if you go to the video, there's an option for you to copy the link. And once you copy the link, you then come into stream here, and then you can connect it in here. Another option you have, instead of connecting it in here, you can just download it and upload it the same way which has been done here. So if you see in this team in here, they have meetings they've uploaded. For example, this one here, if you can see here. So you can simply go into there. I'm not going to play it. I'm just going to show you that it's there. So I hope these guys don't mind me opening the video. So these videos are not playing. Why? Okay, so we have the video here. There it is. So the video start playing here. But if you have access to stream, if you're part of the team. So when I say part of the team, if you're a team member, you need to have a login for the tenant. So the tenant in this case will be Blue Sky. So if you are a guest, you won't be able to see them again unless someone goes to download them and upload them the way it's been done here. So if you see this is the video, it's not playing because I haven't pressed play. Do you get Meet now within the calendar, or colleagues who have got the calendar also get to it? So colleagues who have access to the calendar, we have access to Meet now. If you are a guest, then definitely you won't be able to see it. How to search, copy, and attach specific. Okay, so we want to attach something, right? So what I can do in here, I can go to the team, and in this channel here, if you see, you can select this option. Can you see this option here? You have your GIFs here. In here, you have your emojis. In here, you have your stickers. So I'm going to use that one, and you can put your caption as well. Welcome to Teams. So then I'm gonna put it there, and there it is. If you guys can see it here. So once I have it here, I haven't posted it. I want everyone in my team to see it. So I'm going to use @team. So if I say @team, it then goes and picks up everybody in this team here. Then I'm going to send it. So everyone who's part of this team will get a notification on Teams where it says activity, and they also get a notification in their email. So I have a question in here. How do you create a background? So when you say create a background, do you mean a background on your video? So for Taiwo, yep. Do you mean having a background for your video when you have a video call on Teams? Is that what you mean? If that's what you mean, what you can do is in here. So you guys can see my screen, right? So what you can see in here, these are the options you have. So you have the option to stop recording, end meeting, turn off recording. Because I've disabled the functionality for my video to come on my settings for Teams in the admin area. If you see here, video sharing is disabled by the administrator. So I won't have the options to do it in here. So the option is normally above turn on live captions. So let me see if I can pull it up from a different team, which is, let me see if I can pick up the other team in here, and we should be able to do it from there. So calendar, you have this meeting in here, and join it. And then I'm going to take the sound out. I'm going to leave the video on. So the microphone is muted. I've joined that meeting. And if you can see in here, it doesn't give me the option. Can anyone guess why I don't see the option there? Any suggestions why I can't see the option there for background here? So basically why I can't see the background there is because I'm using the browser. So what I'll then need to do is to log out and do it from the desktop app. However, if I log out of the desktop app, I will lose everyone on the meeting. I have a good one from Deja. I didn't verify it. That's a good one. So yeah, in terms of questions, is there any other questions you need addressing, or is there some additional support I can help everybody to get on well in getting started in using Teams? If there's no questions on the call, please feel free to post any questions in the Telegram group. And if there's anything we can do to help, we're more than happy to help. So any questions from anybody, anything? Thank you so much. So if there's no other questions, thank you so much for spending time with myself and the team in learning more about Microsoft Teams. On Sunday, we have our Azure class as well. So I look forward to speaking to some of you who are part of that team. So we're covering Azure on Sunday. Have a good evening to you all.